Stop whining like a little bee, my fiancée said while pulling her ex aside for a private catch-up alone, ordering me to go find them a table. So I made sure she learned what alone actually costs. Hey Reddit, so I, 32 male, got a major promotion about 6 months ago that kicked off one of the wildest chapters of my life. Lead engineer for the narrow-body fleet at one of the major airlines out of LAX. If you're wondering what that means, I'm the guy who makes sure the plane you're nervously boarding doesn't fall out of the sky. Been doing it for 9 years. Started as a junior mechanic fresh out of A&P school, worked my way up through the ranks. Now I'm overseeing maintenance on 47 Boeing 737s and managing a crew of 12 technicians. The promotion came with a bump from $78,000 to $98,000, plus better shift differentials and actual authority over my own schedule. My buddy Owen, who's been in aviation 15 years, told me most guys don't hit lead engineer until their late 30s. I'd been putting in 60-hour weeks for 18 months straight. I'd earned this with grease under my fingernails and zero social life. My fiancée Sienna, 30 female, and I have been together 2 years. She works as an administrative coordinator at a real estate brokerage, answers phones, schedules showings, occasionally does some data entry, pulls in about $38,000 a year. Not knocking it. Honest work is honest work. But she makes $38,000 while I cover about 70% of our living expenses. Our apartment in the Arts District runs $2,400 a month. I pay $1,700. She pays $700 and somehow still complains that her share is too steep. For the promotion, I wanted to do something special. Called Bellows, this Italian place downtown that books out 6 weeks in advance. They had a cancellation for Friday night. I grabbed it. $80 to hold the reservation. Bought a sport coat at Nordstrom. $450. Not to impress anyone. To look like the lead engineer I'd become. Thursday night, I stopped at the florist and picked up white peonies, Sienna's favorite. Left them on the kitchen counter with a note that said, "Tomorrow night, you and me, big celebration." She got home 3 hours later. I heard her heels clicking on the hardwood, heard her pause at the counter, waited. "These are nice," she called from the kitchen. I walked out. She was texting, the flowers behind her like props. "Nice," I said. "That's it?" She looked up. "Sorry, thank you. They're beautiful. For tomorrow." Bellows. 7 o'clock. She put her phone down. "I might be running late. Thing after work." "What thing?" "Errands." "I'll meet you there." She didn't ask what we were celebrating, didn't mention the promotion, but she'd corrected herself when called out. Friday morning, I was up at 5 like always. Hit the gym for an hour. Deadlifts, bench, the usual circuit. Showered, made coffee, headed to the hangar. We had a 737-800 coming in for a C check. My first major inspection as lead engineer. I ran the crew briefing at 7, walked through the checklist, assigned tasks. Everything ran smooth. My supervisor pulled me aside afterward. "You're a natural at this, Eamon. Keep it up. You're looking at senior lead within 2 years." Senior lead. 6 figures. Real stability. The kind of foundation you build a life on. I texted Sienna around noon. "Morning went great. Can't wait for tonight." She responded 4 hours later with a thumbs up. I replied, "A thumbs up? Seriously?" "Sorry, babe. Slammed at work. Excited for tonight." "Better." I screenshot it. I keep receipts on everything. Financial records, lease documents, who paid for what. Not paranoid. I'm a grown man who doesn't mix finances blindly. I document everything. I don't negotiate respect. I just adjust my budget. I left work at 5, went home to change. Sport coat, clean white shirt, dark jeans. She wasn't home. I texted, "Heading to Bellows. See you soon? Running late. Start without me. This is my celebration. Be on time. Sorry, I'll hurry. Promise." I drove downtown anyway. The valet took my keys at 6:55. I walked in alone, told the hostess I was waiting for my fiancé. The restaurant was packed, candlelit tables, businessmen closing deals, the smell of fresh bread and garlic drifting from the kitchen. I checked my phone. Nothing from Sienna. The hostess offered to seat me while I waited. I told her I had a reservation under my name, and I'd be standing right there until it was time. She showed up at 7:17, 17 minutes late. So much for hurrying. She looked good in that red dress I'd bought her. Walked in like the room owed her attention. "Traffic," she said. Not a real apology. An excuse. "Noted," I said. For 8 minutes, things were calm. We walked toward the hostess stand. She linked her arm through mine. I let her. Then everything changed. "Sienna? Holy crap, Sienna?" The voice came from behind us. Male, confident, with the energy of a guy who expects attention wherever he goes. I felt Sienna go rigid next to me. Not scared, excited. I turned around. Tall guy, maybe 6'3", stubble that looked intentional, black leather jacket that probably cost more than my truck payment. The whole package. Gold watch that was definitely fake if you knew what to look for. I knew what to look for. He caught his reflection in the glass door and adjusted his collar before taking another step. Trent, the ex. The guy from the stories. The one she'd cried about when we first met. The one she'd called a huge mistake. Her face lit up like she'd won the lottery. Trent? Oh my God. She stepped away from me, physically separated herself to get a better look at him. Like I was a coat she'd set down. He grinned. Slow, lazy, arrogant. His eyes flicked toward me for half a second, scanning me like I was furniture. Dismissed me before he even finished looking. Boyfriend? That's cute. Playing it safe, I see. Sienna didn't correct him. Let it land. Just stood there with an awkward smile, embarrassed I existed. I extended my hand. Eamon, her fiancé. He didn't take it, kept his eyes on her. Let my hand hang there for 3 full seconds before I dropped it. Juvenile power move, but effective on people who care about that kind of thing. I smiled like it didn't matter, because it didn't. Men who do that stuff are auditioning for approval. Good for you, V. He used the nickname, the one she'd told me about when she was crying over him 2 years ago. Stability's important, I guess. I looked at Sienna, waited for her to say something, anything. She put her hand on my chest, not affectionately, like a barrier. Eamon, relax, don't embarrass me tonight. I kept my voice level. One question. That's all I needed. He just disrespected me. You're not going to say anything? He's joking. That's just how he talks. Stop making this weird. I haven't seen him in 3 years, she said, lowering her voice. I need closure. It's important. Closure. I nodded slowly. On my promotion night. It'll take 10 minutes. Just go find us a table. Order me a glass of red. Don't make a scene. She grabbed Trent's arm, wrapped her fingers around his bicep like she had every right to touch him. Let's go outside, she told him. It's loud in here. They walked toward the patio doors. She was laughing at something he said, her body language open, leaning into him. He put his hand on the small of her back as they walked. She didn't remove it. The hostess cleared her throat. Sir, your table is ready. I watched through the glass doors, Sienna leaning against the railing, Trent close, her hand on his chest. He glanced at his reflection in the window, smoothing back his hair while she talked. She looked comfortable. That told me what I needed to know. I don't compete with ghosts. I turned to the hostess. I won't be needing the table. Nope. I walked toward the exit. Not the patio, not toward Sienna, toward my truck. The valet looked confused. Sir, you just got here. Change of plans. He brought my truck around. I got in, adjusted my mirrors, checked the clock. 7:38. She'd said 10 minutes, but I knew better. They'd order drinks, reminisce, lose track of time. She'd never respected mine anyway. I had at least 2 hours, maybe 3. I put the truck in drive and headed home. Not angry, just done. The drive back took 15 minutes. I hit every green light like the universe was clearing a path. No radio, no music, just the hum of the engine and the execution of a plan I'd been building as a contingency for months. I keep my life organized, always have. I knew exactly what was mine. I knew exactly where everything was. I'd already done a dry run one afternoon when she was at work. Walked through the apartment, mentally packing. Closet, 5 minutes. Bathroom, 2 minutes. Living room, 10 if I was thorough. I could be out in under 2 hours if I moved with purpose. The PlayStation was mine. The router was in my name. The furniture we'd bought together, I'd paid for 70% of it. But I didn't care about furniture. I cared about clean exits. I cared about not leaving anything behind that I'd regret. I parked in my assigned spot. The one I paid an extra $100 a month for because Sienna said street parking made her feel unsafe. Meanwhile, she spent $200 a month on boutique fitness classes she attended twice. 4th floor, apartment 4G. I unlocked the door. Everything looked exactly like it had that morning. Clean, organized. The peonies on the counter, untouched. The note I'd written, unread. Visual confirmation of who she was. I stood in the doorway for 5 seconds. Then I executed. First, the small safe in the bedroom closet behind her shoeboxes. Inside, passport, social security card, truck title, and my watches. The Omega Seamaster that had been my grandfather's, the one he wore working the flight line at O'Hare, worth maybe $5,000 total. I wrapped them in a sweatshirt. The emergency cash envelope was in there too, 1820s. This qualified. Second, hallway closet, contractor-grade trash bags, heavy-duty, 42-gallon. I'd bought them last month, told her it was for the storage unit. It wasn't. My side of the closet was organized, always had been. Jackets on the left, casual shirts in the middle, work clothes on the right. I'd kept my stuff separate from hers since month 3. Easier to keep track of my own property that way. Easier to pack if I ever needed to. I ripped open the first bag, didn't fold anything, grabbed hangers in armfuls and dumped them in. Hangers clattered onto the closet floor. That sound, metal hitting wood, was satisfying. The sound of a plan executing perfectly. 5 minutes to clear my side completely. The empty space looked right next to her side, packed with dresses and shoes she'd bought on credit cards I helped pay off. My void next to her excess. A visual representation of 2 years. The dresser and bathroom came next. Socks, underwear, gym clothes. My razor, cologne, prescriptions. Took only what was exclusively mine. Left nothing that could be argued over. Then the living room. PlayStation 5, Switch, controllers. My books. The framed photo of my dad and me at my A&P graduation. Left the photos of us. She could keep those. I didn't need reminders. The router sat on the entertainment center, lights blinking. Netgear, Nighthawk. Internet account in my name. I'd been paying $85 a month for 2 years while she complained about the Wi-Fi being slow. I unplugged it, wrapped the cords, shoved them in my backpack. I also grabbed the Bluetooth speaker from the bathroom, the portable charger off the nightstand, and the toolkit under the kitchen sink. Every single thing I'd bought with my money. She'd have to learn what things cost when someone else isn't paying for them. My laptop, iPad, AirPods, every piece of tech with my name on the receipt. I'd kept every receipt, organized by date in a folder on my desktop. Because I plan for things. By 8:40, my truck was packed. Backseat full of black trash bags. Bed covered with a tarp. Passenger seat had my backpack and the watches. I went back up for one final sweep. The apartment looked gutted. Not empty, but hollowed out. The entertainment center was a skeleton of dangling cables. The bathroom counter was lopsided. The closet looked like someone had taken a chainsaw to it. I took my spare key off my keyring and placed it on the kitchen counter next to the untouched peonies. I needed to leave a note. Found a piece of junk mail. Credit card offer addressed to me. Flipped it over. Grabbed a Sharpie. I considered writing nothing, letting the empty apartment speak for itself. But I wanted her to understand exactly what had happened. Not an explanation. A statement. I remembered what she'd said at the restaurant. Don't embarrass me. I wrote 5 words in block letters. Didn't start anything. Just finished it. Put the note next to the key. Walked out. Locked the door one last time. Headed down to my truck. I got in, started the engine, checked my mirrors. Dashboard clock read 8:52. My phone lit up. Incoming call. Sienna. I hit the silent switch. Watched the screen glow for 30 seconds, then go dark. She was probably walking back to the table right now. Scanning the restaurant. Annoyed that I wasn't answering. Had no idea she was calling someone who no longer existed. I pulled out of the garage. Didn't know where I was going yet. Hotel. Owen's place. Didn't matter. What mattered was, I was driving away from someone who'd told me to wait while she chased something else. Consider this my resignation. I was done. I checked into a Holiday Inn Express off the 405. Highway exit place, $90 a night, zero chance of running into anyone I knew. The kid at the front desk looked at me sideways. Guy in a sport coat checking in with trash bags. He probably thought I was running from the law or a bad marriage. Half right on the marriage part, just without the paperwork. Just the one night? He asked. We'll see, I said. He handed me a key card for room 227. I hauled everything up in 3 trips. The room was exactly what you'd expect. Queen bed, basic TV, rattling AC unit, generic art on the walls. Didn't matter. I didn't need luxury. I needed a door that locked and silence. I ordered a large pepperoni pizza. Sat on the bed with my phone face down on the nightstand. It buzzed every few minutes like an angry insect. I didn't look at it. Not yet. I wanted to eat first. Wanted to sit in the silence and feel what freedom felt like. The pizza arrived. I ate 4 slices, enjoying every bite without someone across the table checking their phone or sighing because the restaurant wasn't aesthetic enough for her Instagram. At 10:30, I finally picked up the phone. 43 missed calls, 31 text messages, 9 voicemails. I smiled. Not out of cruelty, out of confirmation. I listened to the voicemails in order. Each one was a masterclass in someone realizing their leverage had disappeared. Voicemail 1, 8:58 p.m., transportation. Lost. Eamon, where are you? I'm back at the table and the waiter said you left. This isn't funny. Come pick me up. I'm not paying for a ride when you were supposed to drive. Annoyed. Entitled. She thought I was sitting in the parking lot, throwing a fit she could wait out. She thought this was a tantrum with an expiration date. She had no idea I was already 15 miles away, unpacking my life from hers. Voicemail 2, 9:22 p.m. Image shattered. Okay, seriously, answer your phone. I'm standing outside now. Trent left already. He had to meet some friends. I'm not paying $40 for an Uber. This is so immature, Eamon. You're really going to strand me over this? Angry. Blame shifting. Of course, Trent had already bailed. Got what he wanted. Confirmation that he could still have her, and disappeared. Classic. And now she was stuck outside a restaurant in a dress I'd paid for, realizing her backup plan had no backup plan. Voicemail, 9:55 p.m. Comfort gone. Eamon, I'm home. Why isn't the TV working? The internet's not connecting. Long pause. Sound of footsteps on hardwood. Her heels clicking faster now. Eamon, where's the PlayStation? Where's your laptop? Eamon. More footsteps. Faster. The sound of closet doors opening. Where are your clothes? Eamon, call me right now. You're freaking me out. Confusion. Reality seeping in. The infrastructure she'd taken for granted was gone. Voicemail 4:10:02 p.m. Control lost. Full breakdown. Crying. I found the note. What do you mean finished it? You can't just leave. We live together. You took the router? Are you insane? Just come home. We can talk about this. More crying. Sniffling. I'm sorry I was with Trent for so long, okay? I'm sorry. I lost track of time. Just come back, please. I'll explain everything. Panic. Bargaining. The 5 stages compressed into 4 voicemails. I listened to that last one while finishing my pizza. Felt nothing. No pull to comfort her. No guilt. No second thoughts. Just a guy eating pepperoni while someone else experienced the natural consequences of their choices. I scrolled through the texts. Same progression. 8:54 p.m. Where are you? 9:08 p.m. This isn't funny. 9:24 p.m. Answer me now. 9:51 p.m. Why is all your stuff gone? 10:04 p.m. Please call. We need to talk. 10:19 p.m. I messed up, okay? Please come home. 10:33 p.m. Eamon, I'm scared. Please tell me you're okay. I turned the phone completely off, held down the power button until the screen went black. The silence in that hotel room was the loudest, most peaceful thing I'd experienced in 2 years. I wasn't waiting for her approval, wasn't second-guessing myself, wasn't calculating what I needed to do or say to make her happy. I was just free. I slept like the dead. I woke up Saturday morning to sunlight cutting through the cheap hotel curtains. Phone was still off. I left it that way while I hit the hotel gym. Sad little room with 2 treadmills and some dumbbells. Didn't matter. Routine matters. I worked out for an hour, same as always. Around 9, I turned the phone back on. Wall of notifications. 68 missed calls. 54 text messages. 14 voicemails. I didn't listen to any of them. Got dressed, checked out, drove to Owen's place in Glendale. Owen took one look at me standing in his doorway with trash bags full of clothes and nodded. Took you long enough, he said. Had to see it clearly. Guest room's yours as long as you need it. The next few days were smooth. Owen worked opposite shifts, so we rarely crossed paths. I had space to decompress. Space to plan the next phase. Space to let the consequences unfold without my involvement. Now, if this seems extreme, if it looks like I moved too fast, let me explain why I was already organized. The pattern was already there. I'd been watching it for months. Not collecting grievances, just recognizing what was in front of me. Like the time her phone buzzed at 2 a.m. and she jumped out of bed to check it. Told me it was her sister. Her sister lives in the same time zone and goes to bed at 10. I didn't argue with her about it. Arguing with someone who's checked out is a hobby for lonely people. I just filed it away. Or the time I overheard her on the phone with Brooke, her best friend, saying she wished I was more exciting and that she felt stuck. She hung up when I walked in. I didn't demand an explanation. That conversation told me everything I needed to know about where her head was at. Then there was the birthday situation, my 32nd. She forgot. Not forgot to buy a gift, forgot the day entirely. Went to brunch with her girlfriends while I sat at home waiting for her to remember. She rolled in at 4 p.m., a little buzzed, and said, "Oh crap, that was today?" Then asked if I could pick up Thai food because she was too tired to cook. My friend Reggie had cornered me at a Lakers game 2 months before everything went sideways. We were in the nosebleeds, watching LeBron do LeBron things, and he just said it flat out. "Eamon, she talks to you like you're her personal assistant. You catch that?" "I catch everything," I said. Reggie looked at me sideways. "You got a plan?" "I've got contingencies." Owen had asked me the same thing a week later. "When's the last time she asked how your day went without checking her phone halfway through your answer?" I couldn't remember. So when I kept my stuff separate, when I kept receipts, when I maintained documentation on who paid for what, it wasn't because I was planning to leave. It was because I'm a grown man who protects himself. If things worked out, great. If they didn't, I wasn't going to be the guy scrambling to figure out what was his. The first 6 months with Sienna had been solid. She showed up when she said she would, actually listened when I talked, made me feel like a priority, Then, somewhere around month 8, something shifted. The pattern emerged. I didn't argue about it. I just stayed aware, stayed organized, stayed ready. That dinner was supposed to be a celebration. Instead, it became the moment I had to make a decision. She made hers on that patio. I made mine in my truck. That Sunday, sitting on Owen's couch, I surveyed the fallout. Sunday, 3:52 p.m. My phone rang. Brooke, Sienna's best friend. I answered. Not because I wanted to hear her opinion, because I wanted to document the narrative Sienna was spinning. Know your opponent's story. You are unbelievable, Eamon. Hello to you too, Brooke. Sienna hasn't eaten in 2 days. She's been crying nonstop. How could you just abandon her like that? Over a 5-minute conversation with an old friend? You're insecure, controlling, and honestly kind of scary. Who clears out an apartment in 3 hours? I let her finish. Didn't interrupt, didn't defend, just listened. Someone who keeps his life organized, I said finally, keeping my voice level. Someone who watched his fiancée choose her ex over him on the night celebrating his promotion. Someone who decided that disrespect has consequences. She told you to grab a table. She was trying to handle a delicate situation, and you threw a fit like a child. Is that what she told you? That she asked me to grab a table? I paused. She told me not to embarrass her. Then she walked outside with him, touched his arm, his shoulder, his chest, on my night, in front of me. And when I asked her to say something about him disrespecting me, she told me to stop making it weird. Silence on the other end. That wasn't the story Sienna had told. She loves you, Brooke said, but her voice had lost some certainty. It was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. Choices have consequences. Tell her she needs to worry about rent. I paid through the end of the month. After that, she's on her own. I hung up and blocked her number. No point in continuing a conversation that served no purpose. The Trent situation was its own beautiful disaster. I found out through Donovan, a mutual friend who worked near Sienna's office. He texted me Monday afternoon. Yo, heard what went down. Sienna's been a mess at work. Also, word is, she tried texting Trent and he left her on read, then blocked her on everything. Shocking, I replied. Truly unexpected. You knew? I knew what he was. Guys like that don't reconnect. They confirm. She was validation, not a relationship. Once he confirmed he could still have her, he was done. Man, cold. Accurate. Donovan sent me another text that Wednesday. Sienna had shown up at Trent's gym trying to talk to him. He'd had the front desk tell her he wasn't there, while she could literally see him on the treadmill through the window. She stood outside for 20 minutes before finally leaving. 30 years old, standing outside a gym, waiting for a guy who wouldn't even acknowledge she existed. Sienna had thrown away 2 years for a guy who wouldn't even respond to her texts. She'd humiliated me in public, prioritized a fantasy over reality, and ended up with nothing. Not even the guy she'd chosen. Classic. The financial reality hit her fast. I make $98,000. Sienna made $38,000. I'd been covering most of our $2,400 rent, plus internet, electricity, streaming, groceries. I'd also been helping her chip away at $6,000 in credit card debt she'd accumulated buying clothes and going to brunch with friends who couldn't afford their lifestyles either. I'd done the math. Without me, she'd need to cover the full $2,400 rent on a take-home of roughly $2,500 a month. That left $100 for her car payment, insurance, student loans, and everything else combined. The math didn't work. She tried to negotiate, sent me an email. I can't afford this place by myself. You promised you'd take care of me. I didn't respond. I wasn't being cruel. I was just no longer subsidizing a lifestyle that didn't include me. 3 weeks later, property management emailed me that rent was late. Sienna sent another email begging me to help. I forwarded her the notice I'd sent the landlord 2 weeks prior, removing myself from the lease. I'd CC'd her. She just hadn't read it. Too busy mourning the relationship to handle the logistics of her own life. She broke the lease. Lost the $2,400 security deposit, most of which I'd paid. That was the cost of my freedom. Worth every penny. Donovan gave me the play-by-play of her move-out. Said she had to sell the furniture on Facebook Marketplace for pennies because she couldn't afford a moving truck. The couch I'd paid $800 for went for $150. The bed frame, gone for free just to get someone to haul it away. The mutual friends chose sides. Most chose mine. Turns out people had been watching the same patterns I'd been documenting. Donovan told me everyone thought she'd been using me for months. You were the last to know, man. Everyone could see it except you. I saw it, I said. I was just waiting for the right moment to act. One guy, Kevin, who I'd always thought was more Sienna's friend than mine, texted me out of the blue. She did the same thing to her ex before you. Different guy at a party, same playbook. You dodged a bullet. I saved that text, not out of spite, Just confirmation that my read had been accurate. Last I heard from Donovan, she'd moved back in with her parents. The same parents she'd spent 2 years calling toxic and suffocating. 30 years old, sleeping in her childhood bedroom, commuting 90 minutes each way to a job she hated because she couldn't afford to live anywhere closer. The placeholder was gone. And without the placeholder, the whole structure collapsed. 5 months later, my life looked exactly how I designed it. New place. Studio loft in a converted warehouse near the airport. 800 square feet of exposed brick and concrete floors. $1,600 a month. I could afford it easily because I wasn't subsidizing someone else's lifestyle anymore. Furnished exactly how I wanted. Minimalist. Functional. Everything in its place. Work was thriving. Without the constant interruptions, without the mental noise of managing someone else's expectations, I was operating at full capacity. 3 major C-checks completed without a single delay. My crew respected me because I led by example. My supervisor told the regional director I was the best lead engineer he'd worked with in 15 years. In November, they promoted me to senior lead. $108,000 base, way ahead of schedule. I worked out 5 days a week, put on 10 pounds of muscle, slept 7 hours a night for the first time in years. My body was a machine I maintained with the same precision I applied to aircraft. The first month after leaving, I noticed something. I kept waiting for regret to show up, for doubt, for the pull to go back. It never came. What came instead was clarity. The constant negotiation was gone. I could think clearly for the first time in 2 years. By month 3, I barely thought about her at all. Not anger, not bitterness, just absence. I'd started seeing someone. Leah. Accountant. We met at a coffee shop near my gym. She was on time and didn't fish for validation. We'd get dinner, catch a movie. It was easy. She handled money like an adult. Didn't check her phone. Didn't make me feel like an interruption. First date, she split the bill before I could even reach for my wallet. Said she didn't like owing anyone anything. I knew right then she was different. I hadn't heard from Sienna since October. 2 months of silence. Then, the first week of December, I ran into Donovan at a taco spot near the hangar. "Man, you look good," he said. "You been lifting?" 5 days a week. It shows. Hey, random thing. Saw Sienna last week at the grocery store. She looked rough. Asked about you. What did she say? Asked if you were dating anyone. I said I didn't know. Then she asked if you seemed happy. I told her you seemed great. How'd she take that? Didn't say much. Just kind of nodded and walked away. She's still at her parents' place. Heard she got a new job at some insurance agency. Better money, but she's commuting like an hour and a half each way. Good for her, I said, and meant it. You really are over it, aren't you? Completely. And I was. I didn't wish her suffering. Didn't fantasize about her crawling back. I just didn't think about her at all. I was living a life I'd built for myself. Work that challenged me. Friends who respected me. A routine that made me feel capable. A woman who actually seemed happy to be with me. The apartment stayed clean because I kept it clean. The bills were paid because I paid them. Everything worked because I made it work. I wasn't waiting for anyone's approval anymore. Then, 3 days before Christmas, Sienna found me. It was a Thursday morning, 7:45 a.m. I was at the coffee shop near my apartment, the one with the good espresso. Had an early shift at 8:30. C-check on a 737-900 that needed my sign-off before it could return to service. I was wearing my work jacket, checking my phone, waiting for my order, feeling solid, grounded, like someone who'd built exactly the life he wanted and didn't need anyone's permission to live it. Amen. The voice hit me before I turned around. Familiar, but different, like hearing a song you used to know played in the wrong key. I saw the dog first, medium-sized mutt, maybe 40 pounds, brown and white patches, floppy ears. Sitting on the sidewalk outside the coffee shop window, leash wrapped around a bike rack. The dog looked up at me through the glass with that hopeful, confused expression shelter dogs get when they don't know where they are yet. Then I saw who was holding the other end of the leash. Sienna was standing 6 feet away, watching me through the window. She looked diminished. That's the only word that fit. Hair in a messy ponytail, not the styled look she used to spend an hour on. Minimal makeup that didn't hide the dark circles. Puffy jacket that had seen better days. Sneakers instead of heels. But she was smiling. Not apologetic. Proud. Like she'd figured something out. She had a PetSmart bag in her other hand. I could see the price stickers still on the bowls inside. A manila folder tucked under her arm. The dog had a bright blue shelter tag clipped to its brand new collar, the kind they give you at adoption events. This wasn't grief. This was a strategy. I grabbed my coffee and walked outside. The December air was sharp. The dog immediately stood up, tail wagging, straining toward me. "Amen," she said, still smiling. "I want you to meet someone." I didn't respond. Just looked at her, then at the dog, then back at her. "His name is Maverick," she said. "I named him myself. You know, like the call sign? I thought you'd appreciate that. Maverick. She'd named the dog after a fighter pilot because I work on planes. That's not thoughtful. That's a keyword search. I adopted him yesterday, she continued, talking fast now. He's a lab mix. Maybe some pointer in there. Super sweet temperament. They said he's about 2 years old, already house-trained. I got him a bed, bowls, the good food, not the cheap stuff. I even signed up for training classes. She hadn't mentioned Trent, hadn't apologized, hadn't acknowledged what happened at all. She was pitching me a dog like it was a business proposal. You always wanted a dog, Eamon. You talked about it all the time, remember? You said when we got a bigger place, maybe a yard, you'd finally get one. She gestured at the mutt like she was revealing a prize on a game show. Well, I finally did it. I got us a dog. Us. The dog was sniffing toward me, tail still going. I crouched down, let him smell my hand. He licked my fingers, leaned into my palm when I scratched behind his ears. Good dog. None of this was his fault. I stood back up. Sienna. He's so good, she kept going. He slept right through the night. Didn't even bark. My parents aren't thrilled, but I told them it's temporary, just until we figure things out, until we get a new place together. This proves I'm serious, Eamon. I'm ready to commit, to build something real. She said it like the dog was a down payment on a relationship she'd already foreclosed. A dog isn't an apology, I said. Her smile flickered. What? You showed up with a shelter dog and a PetSmart bag, and you think that erases what happened at Bellows? I kept my voice flat. You're still trying to manage me. You're just using an animal to do it. I'm not. She took a half step forward, the leash pulling tight. Eamon, I love you. I made a mistake. One mistake. And I'm trying to show you I can change. Maverick is a fresh start. For both of us. There is no both of us. Tears started forming now. The proud smile was gone. You can't just... After everything, I got a dog for you, Eamon. I drove to 3 different shelters. I spent $600 on supplies. You can't say no to this. I looked at the dog one more time. Brown eyes, trusting face. No idea he was a prop in someone else's manipulation. Take care of him, I said. He deserves better than being a bargaining chip. I turned and walked toward my truck. Didn't look back. Eamon, wait! I heard her footsteps behind me, the click of the leash hardware, the dog's nails on the sidewalk. Just think about it. Please, we can talk. We can go somewhere, get breakfast. You can spend time with him. He already likes you. Did you see how he leaned into you? That means something. I kept walking. Eamon, stop. Just stop for 1 second. I didn't stop. I unlocked my truck, got in, started the engine. Through the windshield, I could see her standing on the sidewalk, holding the leash, the dog sitting at her feet looking confused. She was still talking, mouth moving, but I couldn't hear her through the glass anymore. She thought a dog would fix it. She thought a gesture would rewrite history. She thought I could be managed with the right prop. She was still holding the leash when I pulled away. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.